Good evening and welcome to another episode of Life is People. Well, let's go straight into this without any further delay. Let's start at the very beginning. Where did the whole test subjects project begin?
Just like our relationship, I guess, on Twitter. It was just a reach out, just a hey, what's going on? I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, I don't know. I've put it out a couple times to say like, hey, who's out there who wants to collab on something, and I'll just throw that out there. And that could mean whatever. I could make beats, I could do the raps, we could do whatever. I'm down with it. And I think David reached out and said he had a beat for me, and he threw me the beat. And I don't know if you know the song, but Rinse and Repeat, which was on our album Flowers for the Clown, and that was the first beat that he had sent me. And going through it, trying to write it, it was so weird because it's a hard beat to rap to. It's not on normal like 4/4 tempo, 4/4 beats. It's not like that. He definitely has his own style, very original. And so I wrote the song to it, and I was like, wow, this is a really crazy song. This might not be the best like first song to put out, because I mean, I liked it, but it was very different, and I didn't want people to sort of expect that every time. So and then after that, I don't remember how it happened. I think I just said like, I love the beat, I'm gonna make a song to it, and then there were more beats, and I recorded to all of those beats. I think two or three of them for the season premiere EP, and I don't know. He was very weird, very different. I really dug the sound of it. I wanted to go with like a sort of 80s freestyle, stream of consciousness type way of rapping to it, because the beats were, like I said, they were different as far as the timing went. And I still can't tell you exactly what the timing is. I never sat down and figured it out, because I wanted to keep going with that. Uh, if you're rapping and freestyling and you're going off and doing a bunch of stuff, you might mess up, or even if you're doing live, you might flub, and you have to catch yourself and get back into the rhythm of it, get back into the beat of it. And really wanted to go with that, and just have the songs just keep going and going, and not having popular choruses and things like that. But so the way that we did interact is, yeah, just hooked up on Twitter. I might have said, anybody want to work together, or he might have just, I think that's probably how it happened. I said, anybody want to work together, and then he sent me a beat, and I wrote to that. I didn't make it until later on, but he sent me beats after that one beat, and those I ended up recording, and that was our first EP. And yeah, it just spiraled from there, because he makes great beats, weird shit, and that's what I want to do. That's, I think, the only thing you can do in art now is to sort of go off the beaten path and make something different. So really try to do that with test subjects, and just be me to like 1,000%, just out there.
So, let's linger on the process then. So he sent you over a beat. You said for the first one, you just went with a complete flow of consciousness over for the lyrics. Now, when you're doing that, just focus on the actual, the actual process of it. When you record that, did you make many? I mean, did you literally do one take of flow of consciousness and that was it? And when you have completed that, then what happens? You record that and send that back to him, and then he edits and dubs or adds to it, or how was that process? How did that
No, he sends me beats.
yeah.
I rap over them.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, but do you send them back to him, and that's, or is it once you've done the lyrics,
No.
that's it, done?
I record it. I'm the one who I do all the like vocal mastering and stuff like that, and it's basically done after that.
Wow.
You know, I let him do his own thing, and then he sends me. So with the new album, he's never done this before. He sent me like a huge batch, 14 beats. And I already had, I think out of everything that he sent me, there was only like maybe 2 or 3 that I didn't use in all the test subject stuff. So like I used everything he sent me, I went with and was like, you know, this is what it is. You know, I can't, if you're working and collaborating with people, I think you have to just go with the flow sometimes, you know. So you know, he's brought out the beats that he has sent me and the songs that I've written for them have brought out so much in me as far as technique, style, content, just the way of doing things. Because, you know, like I said, the timing is different. It is very sort of all over the place sometimes, and it makes me want to, like, it's like a challenge. Like, you have to, you know, mix with it. You have to get into the mind a breather, and you have to ride the breather, as I say on Twitter. You know, and you can at a certain point you definitely can, and you get into it, and it's different. It makes you think outside the box, and you write things that, one of the things I've noticed mostly is when transferring like the written word to the spoken word, is that I have to do a lot of editing as far as like the words that I have. And I have to like, so if I have lines written, I'll end up taking out a lot of words to sort of like shorten things. And it's like basic words that, you know, just, they're not necessary to it. And then once you take them out, it's a whole different kind of poetry, a whole different kind of speaking. And that's, I think, what makes the test subjects so different, is just his music, and then me trying to go into that and be like, you know, this is David's world. He sent me this. Let me get into that world. And it's like, you know, he's had rappers tell him that they, you know, couldn't match it. Like, people have told him like, I can't do it. I don't understand it. Because, and that's sort of every beat. I mean, there's maybe a couple like, yo, what up, wordy, check the commentary, but even then, when you listen to some of those songs, there's a lot of parts where there's no beat or there's no drums, and I just keep rapping. I just keep going no matter what. Like, just keep rolling with it, and then eventually it tumbles back into itself and it makes a song. And I don't know, it's an extremely weird experience working with David Breather, going through his beats, doing test subjects, and trying to figure out like a kind of like, I don't know, it's like a psycho kabuki theater where like I've introduced like a bunch of characters, and uh, especially with the mixtape. Did you listen to the mixtape?
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. Like, that was just it was stupid. It was so great. It was stupid. It was, he had made a beat tape, and I said, well, maybe I can do some like vocals to help roll it along, you know, just to keep something flowing. And then I ended up doing all these different voices and rapping to certain parts, and it was kind of like a parody of mixtapes, because it would go into like what was supposed to be a song, but the song would only be like 45 seconds, like maybe a minute. And there was a birthday song, which is still one of my favorite test subject songs, is the birthday song. which it's just so weird. It's funny. It's it's like, it reminds me of like old punk rock, and one of the things about Test Subject was David came up with the name of the group, and I just for some reason thought of it, and I was like, it's the same amount of letters as Dead Kennedys. I was like, that's just weird. I don't know why I thought of that, but like Dead Kennedys, Test Subjects, like, wow, that's weird. And some of the things I wanted to try to do was to bring sort of that punk rock, just attitude. I'm not, the biggest punk guy in the world. I'm not gonna claim to be, but try to do it. Try to, I have my inner angst. I can dig it. I can do it. I might have back problems, but whatever. But yeah, try to bring back like sort of like an old Beastie Boys, punk rock, hip hop, stream of consciousness. Tried to bring in a lot of social commentary, and just sort of somebody who, like with the song "Yo, What Up, Wordy," like they call me Wordy because I get wordy on the mic. I just talk raps, boom, 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 like keep going, and that's a lot of what Test Subject is. It's just me, just fucking rapping. No choruses, nothing to sit and really dance to. It's more of just, wow, he's just rapping, lots of rapping.
So are they all completely just streams of consciousness, or like you said, when you write the things, when you're writing lyrics down, are they, you have them before you hear the beat, or they literally you hear the beat and you go, right, that's it, and you write to that piece of music?
I've actually had even when I was younger, when I was 20 some years ago, rapping, like I really cannot have the beat playing while I'm writing. It's best for me to just hear the beat and be able to have it in my head, because if I just hear the beat, like playing and then restarting over and over again, it like fucks with my head and my timing, my thinking, and I can't really process it like that because I'm just too I don't know, I'll be trying to think about something, and at the same time I'll be trying to work out, like, when the beat's gonna drop at the right moment and I'm supposed to rap the line, and you wait for it and then you fuck it up, and it's frustrating for me. So I can't really listen to the music as I'm writing to it, but I will have it in my head, and usually get with a starter point of something that you write out that "Call Me Ishmael" line, and you write your first bar. That's great and awesome, and usually I'll go from there, whatever I'm doing, but definitely not writing to the music because it's too frustrating.
Okay. And so were you, again, on a technical one, how many takes would you say you do per song as an average?
2 per song. Per I record on a shitty old laptop because I don't edit on the laptop. I just record on it. And it's not something I am like expecting to like hear great playback from. It's just kind of like, when I record, I know when I rap and I hit record, I know it's going to record on the laptop. And then I'll eventually transfer all those files to a flash drive. I'll put them on my regular computer because for some reason my audio interface isn't noticeable by my computer. So I use a shitty laptop. I record on that and I just transfer the files. So I don't edit on the laptop. So I'm not sitting there like playing with all the different takes. I do, I think 6 to 8 takes of like every verse. or chorus. And that just depends. If I do it really well, then I'm just gonna be like, fuck it, I don't need to do anymore. I did it. I did enough of it. But yeah, so usually 6 to 8 takes, and I'll just have all of those just to play with. And because you might do a take and everything's good except for 4 words that you didn't say, the best. They weren't in tune, or the volume was different, or you said it in a different way, or whatever. It's test subjects is when I record it, it's not 100% rehearsed. It's not down to the T of this is the way it's gonna go down, because a lot of it is, and you've probably noticed some of the test subject stuff is really fast, when I rap, and it's not fast in the sense of like, being super, super, tons and tons of words flying at you per minute, but it's constantly flowing, there's just a constant influx of words like being tossed at you, and sometimes they'll come out different. I'll do them tons of different ways. There really is nothing. When I go to record, there's very few things that are actually set in stone as far as like, this is what I want it to sound like, because it's really about, what can you actually make it sound like. I don't want to be disappointed and, think, well, I'm going to make it sound like this, and it's going to sound like this, and I'm going to do this, and then you go and do it, and you're like, fuck, it doesn't sound like the way I wanted it to. Like, no, I'm just going to record it a bunch of times. We'll hope for the best. We go in, and so, like I said, 6 to 8 takes, usually per verse or per chorus, intro, characters, whatever. Characters, I'll do a lot of different shit, comedy stuff, improv shit. I'll do a lot of things, weird voices. That it's just fun. I mean, once you start doing it, once you get in a whole voice and start singing shit, it's easy to go on, keep talking. But yeah, just I don't know, 6 to 8. It's a bitch to go through because I have a shitty setup, but that's just what you can do with what you got. It's not. You want to make an album, you can go out there and make it. You don't have to have the perfect setup. I love my setup, to be honest, because once I go into actually like edit stuff, I'm like, awesome. I have 6 to 8 different versions of every fucking verse. And a lot of times I'll go through all of them, and it'll take me a minute, and then you'll figure out the one, the one that you like. And it's good to have those options instead of, just sort of being in the studio and being like, yes, I know this is the one. It's like I said, it's like being immersive, listening to something like food, like when you make soup, like you have to let it sit for the next day. You have to come back the next day and go to it, see what it's like. Same thing with songs, same thing with recording stuff. Might sound great when you record it, but you might also have been drinking, smoking. You might be in the moment. Everything sounds great, but then you listen to it the next morning and you're like, yeah, that's not what I wanted. So having the multiple takes, yeah, that's what I do with test subjects. Just try to be weird. Try to go out there.
So, just to end this on, if there was one test subjects song that you would, for someone who's never heard anything of test subjects, what one song, and I'll edit it in and we'll play it when we put this out, what one song would you sort of guide them to and say, well, okay, that's a great starting point?
Well, I would say easily check the commentary. I think there's so many other weird good songs, like you can't be judged just by one song. I think check the commentary is a good start though, because it's like I said, there's no chorus. It's just nonstop me rapping. Very, very like early 90s, late 80s. Like I feel like it's kind of like a Beastie Boys type song. But we do have, you know, sort of those weird experimental, political songs as well, and like Rinse and Repeat, for example. That's just one of them. You know, it's so totally different than Check the Commentary. But I would say, for hip hop listeners, Check the Commentary. That would be the one.
Okay, and the final one really on this one, who if it's a collaboration, who will decide, or how does the process come about of the order that you'll put them out when you put them out as a whole album? Who decides that, or how does that come about?
What do you mean?
Well, who decides what? I mean, is it literally you'll get 10 beats and then that's it? That's the order it's going to go in on the album wise, or is it you think okay, we mix around? And because the one thing about an album is listening it from the artist's point of view of how they want, you know, track 1 to track 10, whatever it may be, and that's very specific from the artist's point of view. So how does that work with you on Test Subjects?
Well, early on, when we did the first EPs, there were only like, I think it'd be like 4 or 5 songs, and there would be like, you know, 3 tracks that had vocals on it, and that was pretty much just based on like whatever beats he had sent me. And then with our, I mean, I guess I think ultimately it would come down to me, but with a new album, you know, he just sent me this. He sent me a huge barrage of beats. 1 minute. He sent me a huge barrage of beats. I can't remember how many, maybe 11. And I had some older beats that he had sent me, maybe like 3 of them. So I just sort of went through. I listened to all 11 of the new ones. I said, "This is fucking amazing. I'll go ahead and write up through all 11 of them." And we had 3 old ones, and I said, "Fuck it, I'll go ahead and write all 3 of those." And I put them all together, and I said, "Well, we've got 14 tracks."
They say that life is people, and that people are angels, and that angels are devils, and the devils are me and you.